right. Hey, what's good, guys? Welcome to Contrast Comedy. I'm one of your hosts, Teddy B.
And I'm Jerry Corley, a.k.a. The Joke Doctor.
And I'm a.k.a. the Joke Doctor's assistant, working on getting my Joke Doctor's license so I don't get sued for malpractice. Got it right this time.
Yeah, nice. Here we go.
Let's tune in, guys. Check it out. Enjoy.
Doesn't seem to want to connect for some reason. That's cool. Let's go with my regular camera. This camera, that camera, this camera. That works. Boom. Boom. There we go.
There we go.
Even out the color. What's up, Teddy B?
What is up, man?
Oh, what a week, right?
Right,
So,
for reals.
You're back. Are you back with the wife yet?
No, not yet. I still got another month and a half at this apartment, and then moving back in. So in June, I should be moving back in.
Boy, that's gonna be weird.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I'll be moved out by then. Holy shit,
dude.
right?
Yeah, for real, for real. That doesn't work. There it is, much better. Yeah.
There you go. So look at these great shirts. You got these great shirts. I've got another one I'm making right now. Did I share this one with you?
Nah.
You know, another one I'm having made. Get these ideas. I just had to follow through. You saw the Tesla run one, right?
I don't think so, but yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the first one.
You probably have shown to me, but I've got myself around some marijuana again, so my memory's starting to
Oh shit!
evaporate.
Wow, is that you using that to stay calm?
Yeah, escapism, stay calm. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Keep keep sane.
Yeah, but it's an excuse. It shouldn't be. I got like I got this like my thoughts are all like different types of people. And like when I sit there and say that, my no bullshit thoughts, like, come on, man, don't be using that as an excuse. Get your shit together. And then
Yeah,
my other thoughts, like, no, you gotta be loving and caring. No, don't. Okay, yes. Bernard. I like
right.
that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I get it, man. What I do is I just I don't know. I use comedy. Because the weed makes me weird. I've never done well with that. So here's the burn our income will torch yours.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a good one, right?
Yes.
Hey, did you get in on it? Did you get in on the swing?
Oh yeah, everybody, all his millionaire buddies made a lot of money off that shit.
Yeah, I saw what I saw. Somebody posted on Twitter. Trump just posted this, and that was at I think it was at what was it 6:30 my time,
Hmm.
around 6:40 my time, something like that. Um, that would be 9:40 in New York. That Trump posted. Trump just put this on Truth Social. Now is a great time to buy DJT. Right, of all the posts he makes, that's the only one he ever puts his initials on or his ticker symbol.
Dude, tell me about it, yeah.
So I was like, that's he's calling it out right now. He's basically saying he's gonna. I said he's gonna do something. He's gonna do something, right? He's gonna fucking reverse just like he did last month, right? And then he announces he's gonna hold off for 90 days on the tariffs.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
stock market shot up to its highest 1 day gain in history.
yeah, it also did it on Monday too, but then it kind of wiped away because someone jumped it by saying that Trump ended up doing it anyways, where it's talking about doing the 90-day
Yeah,
extension, but
right.
everybody like
That was the
2.4
test.
trillion.
That was
Yeah.
the test, right? So you see Elon doing this shit too, right? Get on Twitter and you'll see somebody's hyping this Bitcoin from Elon, right? He's
Mhm.
got these. He's learning from a rap group. He's got a hype man next to him,
Got Flava Flav doing the
right?
damn hyping.
And then he's got this. So basically, and by what's cracking me up is the profile avatar for the announcement. This
Mhm.
guy's putting up this thing, and it's basically an ad, right? And then you jump to, it's just this chart you can't read, and then you jump to it, and you can barely read. It says Musk coin or something like that, and then on this white sheet, right? And then you click it, and it goes to an ad, a video of of Musk talking about to support Tesla during the tough times, buy this Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
He said, they're both Trump and Musk are learning from each other. And but the point is, the guy who's the ad that it's an ad, right? You
Right.
see, clearly says ad, right? Well, not clearly, in a little tiny corner there, right? And what it is the avatar is a black dude.
Oh shit.
So I was like, and it's a face that's real close, so you
Mhm.
can, there's no question, right? And I go, this is all fucking planned. And
Yeah.
he's doing that because he's trying to act like, okay, it's a legit, just a regular guy. I wonder if we actually did Google
Did the reverse Google on the
yeah,
image?
lens, and we find out ID this person if this person is actually doing involved in this, if that person actually exists, right?
Probably an image created by AI,
Right, and
created
it's
by
like,
Gronk.
yeah, it's like a
I need a
so,
patsy Gronk.
fuck, man. We know it's Grok. It's Grok, by the way. Grunk
Grok. Yeah,
is
not Gronk.
Gronkowski.
Yes, yes.
It's that weed, man.
It
You must
is,
get. You
dude.
must. Boy, you must have been getting the good shit.
Uh,
So yeah, that's it's all a fucking scam,
yes,
and
it
they're
is.
using the White House as their fucking scam device. But did
A
you
hundred
notice
percent, man.
that did you notice that the White House has put up the fence now around the unscalable fence around the White House?
No.
Yeah, it happened last week, right? But it happened Monday after the weekend of some of the biggest marches, right? There were 100,000 people marched in D.C.
Right.
They originally filed for a permit for 10,000. Then, as the weekend was coming up, they had to amp it up to 20,000. Then, as the weekend hit, the state parks, the Washington, D.C. State Park, said they counted because they have ways of doing that. They send up a balloon or
Damn right, I was gonna
now
say.
it's a drone, right? Now send up a drone, or they would do a helicopter, send a helicopter over and count because it's a serious security possibility,
Right.
right? So, especially in DC, and they do a count, and just like they did at the inauguration, Trump had the biggest crowds, but the state parks was like about
No, not
4,500,
really. Right.
right? I told you about the inauguration, right?
Yes. Yep.
He'd moved it inside
Yeah.
because they checked with all the hotels, and the hotels go, no, we have occupancy available, right? They're like, what? So and they were like, we better move this inside so it's not embarrassing. And plus, it'll give away the fact that he didn't really get elected. Trust me, man. That's
Elon bought it all for him.
I'm gonna put. He didn't just buy it. He fucking like Trump said. Elon knows those computers better than anybody. Those election computers. Now, when I do
You
the Trump voice, I have to clear my
gotta
throat.
clear your throat now.
He's like, that's what he's like. Elon knows those election computers better than anybody. That's why we won Pennsylvania in a landslide.
Yeah, but they couldn't win Wisconsin for that judge.
They won Wisconsin for the judge.
I
Oh
thought
no,
they,
they couldn't.
yeah,
The
they couldn't. Yeah,
Democrats by a long shot. By a long
yeah.
shot. So here's the newest one for the Speak My Mind. You might dig this one because it uses a comic book character. Let me see, where's that? I'll unshare and reshare.
Yeah.
Boom. Now I got to reshare. Now this is going to be for. While you were inside crying, we were insider trading.
That Norman.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's I did it because this guy's got like basically it's based on
Yeah.
that character because I
Yeah.
didn't want to infringe on somebody's
Hmm.
trademark. It's based on that character. I wanted to have something that would get attention. Plus, when I first saw the character in an ad, I was like, dude, that this looks like Trump laughing at everybody, you
Yeah.
know?
Also kind of looks
Eh,
like McMahon.
yeah, yeah, it does Vincent McMahon,
Yeah.
definitely. Another now, speaking of McMahon, McMahon's wife or ex-wife, Linda McMahon,
Linda McMahon, the director of
Secretary
the
of Education.
yeah.
Yeah, you heard what she said recently.
Now what's he say
And
recently?
at a education forum for AI, she called AI A1, like the steak sauce. She
Uh,
goes, well, what I think it would be a really good idea if the kids, if the students, during those some sort of times, like somebody gets finished with the test and they're still waiting for the rest of the students to finish the test, those moments, the downtime moments, like maybe, snack time or something, they can get on AI and learn more. They can get on A1 and
A1.
learn more. They'll get a lot of learning done on A1. Right? This is
More than they would
stupid.
offer Worcestershire.
Yeah, it's like she tried to tell me, but her underwear size is medium rare, right?
Right.
Right? It's like
For
how
real, man.
how
It's
dumb can
bad,
you
dude.
get?
So
The
bad.
two of the things how fucking dumb it is like because they're how dumb she is. Like she doesn't even know what it's called, right? And she's the Secretary of Education. She doesn't even know what it's called. On the other one, here's another one I'm gonna have made. So it
Uh,
so that's gonna be there. I'm thinking about maybe changing out the person to Kamala,
uh,
because Kamala warned us like crazy. She said exactly that. The other one I thought was a fun one and I've got some generic ones I'm working on, like you know, something about. Let's see, hold on. Grab this because I think I'm inspired by you, Teddy B. That's what I'm trying to say. Doing the
oh,
t-shirts.
that's nice, man. I appreciate that.
It's all the t-shirts. I go, oh man, I like the t-shirt thing. I want to do that. I want to say something without opening my mouth. I do that enough. That's probably when my wife is leaving me. Dude, I'm like, I got on with my psychiatrist, and he was
Hmm.
like, "How you doing, man? How you doing? No, really, how you doing?" I go, "Great." He goes, "No, is this just a coping mechanism?" I go, "Look, the stuff, this is my second time, right? So it's not the first
Right,
ride.
right.
But the idea is this has been waiting so long, it's almost like a relief,
It's been in a
right?
slow cooker.
It's been in a slave. Yeah,
Now the
yeah.
pressure is like
The,
it's
the
been one of those Instapots pots for
the meat
10 years.
the meat has been tender for about 10 years, Doc.
So it's not even staying on the bone.
Right, exactly. It's like not even becoming a bone. You can't even tell there's a bone there. What bone? Who's got a bone? I don't have a bone.
Not even
Oh,
a er.
so the back to the Secretary of Education. You might
Right.
find this interesting as well. I didn't even plan any of this. I'm moving this stuff on here like I actually know what I'm doing. Like this was planned, right? So the other thing I wanted to show you was very typically all right, now here it is. Okay. So here she is, Secretary of Education. Doesn't she have a fucking team to do research? All right. If we take a look at this chart basically shows generative search tools often confidently wrong in a study done by the TOW Center, TOW, not TOE, because that's for diabetes. That's called the One TOW Center. Um,
One toe center.
yeah,
Ah,
because
buddy,
we
good
lost
one.
the other toe, I guess.
Right.
Your father lost a toe. Did you look under the sofa? Um, so anyway,
Not
Chad
his
TV.
pinky toe.
Right. So look at so dark pink is completely incorrect. Partially incorrect is light pink. Correct but incomplete is light green. Completely correct is green.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is no answer
Should provide
provided,
it.
right? So in the gray is no answer provided. Perplexity and Perplexity Pro seem to be the best. They're actually Perplexity Pro is right more than it's wrong.
Yeah.
Same thing with Perplexity, but I guess they don't do as many. I'm not sure what this down here is. No confident, no answer. Not confident, no answers. Pink and sometimes green. Not confident, no answer. And then the gray. But Perplexity Pro has a fewer of those, but they seem to have the more green, right? So
Right.
then you DeepSeek. DeepSeek's not better than ChatGPT. I don't know who the fuck was saying that,
Right.
right? And it's garbage. I tried it. I was like, this is fucking garbage. What do you mean? The ChatGPT search, but look, it's wrong most of the
Most of the
time.
time than it is right. Yes, I'm
You
seeing
know,
that.
the worst is Gemini. You figure Google's Gemini. You think Google was the original search
Originate,
engine.
yes.
And they're wrong most of the time. So it's like then there's Grok 3. Again, look at the all fucking wrong
Wrong
here.
with the grok,
Grok
yes.
2, it's all wrong. Copilot sucks
Copilot
as
sucks
well.
too. That's
And they're
freaking
using
Bill.
these. So we're actually not only do we want the kids to use AI because we want to have kids that are misinformed for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah.
And so
From
this is
now
like
on, kids are going to be using Gemini moving forward on everything.
right, exactly. 200 excerpts extracted from news articles by 20 publishers. Each
That's
square
wild, man.
represents a citation behavior based on a response.
Ugh.
So, but this is like obviously garbage, right? So it's like what you can get. I think what I like about ChatGPT is, and I use it all the time, is for quick searches, listing,
Quick
and
searches, listing,
finding some
templates, like
right
coming up
some
with a template or something
right
like that to go
templates.
off
I
of.
use it
Yeah.
for templates. I use it sometimes to give me an outline to
Hmm.
go with, and then I fill in my brain side of it
Yep.
because if it's not my voice, it's garbage, right?
Exactly. Whose
And
voice is it?
right, it's not going to be authentic to me. People will be able to sense that. Also, sometimes if I want to if I'm on a time crunch and I need a quick idea breakthrough, I'll use it as a brainstorming partner,
Hmm.
where I'll ask a couple of questions and then it opens up the premise, right? But if you're using the answers to create jokes, you're done.
Yep.
You're done.
Facts. Facts.
Um, and so yeah, right now I'm generating a rant I'm doing on stage, and I'm looking up some stuff, but you have to double check it.
Make sure it's not being stolen. Yeah.
Not no the rant. I'm not using it to write it. I'm using it for the facts, right? To
Hmm.
find where what year did this happen, sort of thing. And the thing is, a lot of times it's generative knowledge, right? So if you key in something and you prompt it the wrong way, it will try to prove you right, right?
Yes.
It'll sort of like fill in the blanks that are not there. It'll find that information. So even if it's not, it'll generate the information. So it'd be like, even if it's not true,
It's going to make it
it's
true
going to
for
try
you.
to
It's
fill
that
in the blanks
confirmation
for you.
bias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
It's a digital sycophant.
you're right. It is. And it wants your approval.
It does want your approval. It's like I'd be like, look, don't just tell me to tell me. Like if I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. Challenge me. Yeah, but yeah,
And it's like,
it
yeah,
don't.
and a lot of times it'll say no,
Hmm.
that's not correct. But if I ask the question, um, if I ask the question in a way that leads it, it'll try to fill in the blanks for me, and I'll be like, I don't want you to fill in the blanks.
No.
One thing I was doing though, I was like, I'm on this rant, and it's like I'm writing it because I'm like so fucking sick and tired of the ice bullshit,
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
And the way I see it is like I told my housekeeper, because my landscapers showed up and I noticed they had a female with a leaf blower, a new person that wasn't part of the crew before.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wait a second, did somebody bring their wife because they lost somebody? And on the way home the day before, I was coming back late from a gig, so it's probably 6 in the morning, right?
Hmm.
5 in the morning, and I'm driving down the 210. I see like four landscaping trucks pulled over
Ugh.
by an unmarked fucking car.
Ugh.
First of all, let me put this out there. In the state of California, Nobody can pull you over unless they have door emblems or an emblem on the back that says the agency where they're from.
Hmm.
A deputy will not pull you over. Deputy sheriff will not pull you over unless you're doing something erratic. That's the highway patrol's jurisdiction on the interstate. Local cops won't pull you over unless you're doing something erratic because that's again the highway patrol's jurisdiction.
Right.
So, and if they don't have any emblems, you don't have to pull over for those guys. That's unmarked.
Keep
Right?
on driving.
Right. Keep on driving. Let them get a fucking designated car to pull you over. Law states that. It's in the California Vehicle Code.
Mm.
The other thing is number two, these people are doing shit illegally, right? They've already established that. They're taking people without due process. Anybody who steps foot in the soil of the United States before they're kicked out and apprehended and prosecuted, they're entitled to due process, meaning getting a hearing from a judge. All right, that's just the way the Constitution is written since its inception, basically.
1800s.
Right. So for a long time, that's why the Alien Enemies Act had to be created in 1798 was to bypass the Constitution's restrictions, right? So everybody who steps on American soil is entitled to due process, right? With Trump saying he's going to apply it towards the Enemy Aliens Act, technically, if this was taken to court under with the right questions asked, it's supposed to be during a time of war
There's the whole war going
or
on.
national emergency. He says
Yeah.
there's a national emergency of immigrants coming in. Bullshit. Biden deported more than Trump did in his first term. Obama
Facts.
is the king of deportations. He deported more than anybody, right?
Yeah.
So they used to call him the commander in deportation or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So commander in immigration. So the point is, if these guys are going about this illegally, which they have been, which there's proof, they can't be trusted. They're no longer law enforcement officers. They're fucking criminals. They took an oath of office to the supreme law of the land, which is the
Right.
Constitution, right? Not to a man, not to an agency, but to the Constitution of the United States. So they are, if they violate that, they are now criminals. So I'm not going to fucking get in a car with a criminal. No
Good
way.
point. No.
So, on top of that, I'm going to get armed, right? These motherfuckers try to come to my property. I'm going to shoot them. I shoot criminals, right?
Yes.
Not that I'm
That's
actually going to do
to
this,
do it,
right? But that's the essence of it, right? So that's kind of where the rant is coming from. It's basically going to just sort of like rant this out. I've been working on this concept, and I want to just say enough of the fucking uh, you know, enough of this bullshit, right? So it's like I'm so tired of this lawlessness coming from our administration.
Total lawlessness. Like Pam Bondi, the AG, she wants the ATF to actually enforce the Second Amendment on people.
What does that mean?
Like they want to have a task force and have the ATF be that task force that like enforces the second, like, because there's all these people saying that their Second Amendment right is being violated, so they're gonna have this task force that's going to make sure that their Second Amendment rights are being upheld and everything like that.
What?
Yes,
Who's she
it's weird.
talking to?
Yes, yeah, I saw this when me and Jack were looking at like articles or shit. Saw this on Google News because it was all about because Kash Patel is no longer going to not be the ATF director. They brought in someone else because he was already FBI director and he was ATF director.
Right, right.
And then I was reading on some more deeper into the article, and that came up about Pam Bondi saying that she want to have a task force that's ran by the ATF to enforce the Second Amendment. I'm like, what?
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a good way of tax dollar money being spent.
So I go this. So I was thinking about, yeah, you're right, man. That's ridiculous. What do you mean you're going to
Where's
enforce?
Doge at on that?
You want it? Yeah, exactly. You got the also it's like with they said there's something about they're going to have with this law they're passing, they're trying to pass, like I think they passed it in the state and the legislature, the Save Act, right? Which is just a garbage title. The Save Act, in the Save Act, they said your ID, if you use your real ID, so you have to use your real ID to get a to be able to vote. Now, but if your real ID is your married name and it doesn't match your birth certificate, that's what they're saying. Like you have to match your last name has to match your birth certificate. So if your birth certificate doesn't match your real ID, the ID that you turn in, that when you're voting, you can't vote. It's like so. How many married women aren't going to be able to vote?
Trying to take it back to the freaking
Yeah, they're
1900s, man.
basically trying to keep women from voting, and that's the way they're doing with this quote Save Act, And the whole thing. Oh yeah, Democrats voted against using your ID. Obviously, they want illegal immigrants to vote, and it's like, dude, that's already checked at the secretaries of state in each of the state. That's already checked,
Yeah.
right? So why are you doubling this up? I thought you were basically, to eliminate abuse, fraud, in the
Waste.
and waste. And it's like they are the ones who are abusing, being fraudulent, and
Yes.
wasting.
Wasting away.
So I thought about this. It's like if you're the spouse of somebody and you knowingly know a crime is being committed, you are an accessory after the fact. Like if you don't like let somebody know, like if I know a law has been broken and I don't inform the proper authorities,
Like Ginny Thomas.
like Ginny Thomas, refresh my memory.
Wasn't that isn't that her name? The Clarence Thomas's wife? Was
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
without a doubt. And yeah, and Clarence Thomas himself, he knows that the law has been broken.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't inform, then technically I'm an accessory after the fact, right? So I said so kind of I'm working on this rant. It's like to the ICE agents, to the DHS officers, to the mid-level execs who nod at unconstitutional memos, and to the spouses who don't ask questions, who think your silence keeps your hands clean. Let me explain something. When a president signs an executive order that violates the Constitution, that order is not law. That order is an invitation for you to commit a crime. And when you accept it, when you load legal residents into planes, rip them from their homes, deny them hearings, ignore court orders, you are not enforcing the law. You are breaking it in broad daylight. You're now cosplaying as a
I
criminal
was playing. I like
in
that.
broad daylight with your name on the manifest and your conscience in a coma. Let me say this slowly for the people in the back of the precinct. I was just following orders has not worked as a defense since 1946. The Nuremberg trials didn't end with a group hug, by the way. They ended with gallows because humanity decided there's a line you don't cross, even when your boss tells you to cross it, especially when your boss tells you to cross it. You swore an oath to the Constitution, not a man, not a political party, and the Constitution doesn't bend because your supervisor said, don't worry, it's legal. Here's
Ah,
what happens next. The moment there's a shift in power, and it's coming, the reckoning is coming. The moment Congress flips or a new administration walks through that door, you're not just looking at a change in policy. You're looking at a tidal wave of accountability. It's like, and it's not the weak kind. It's not a slap on the wrist, bad optics kind. No, I mean real accountability with indictments, with contempt of court charges, with criminal prosecutions under 18 USC 242 for willfully violating civil rights. I'll say that again. Look it up. 18 USC 242, willfully violating civil rights, with lawsuits that don't end until your name is in the textbooks next to "Don't be this guy," right? So if you're deporting people after a federal judge has ordered you to stop, let me be very clear. You're not a law enforcement officer. You're a fugitive. And the law, real law, is coming for you. But wait, there's more. And I'm talking to the spouses too, right? Not just the DHS agents and the fucking ICE people. You're breaking the law, dudes. You know it. And it's like you're a criminal. Because
Yeah.
this doesn't end at the border, bro. Because international law doesn't care about your badge. Under the Rome Statute, deportation without legal justification is a crime against humanity. And if you think America's too powerful to be held accountable, ask the retired generals who can't fly through Europe anymore.
Oh
Ask the
shit.
former dictators who thought immunity was forever until they were arrested during a vacation in Spain. You keep breaking the law like this, and someday you'll be booking a family trip to Italy only to find out that you're on Interpol's watch list. Right? This is your moment to choose. You can step back, you can walk away, you can remember what your oath meant before you got it buried under fear, ambition, and excuses, or you can keep going and face the future that will make every decision you've made glow radioactively in hindsight. Because here's what's coming. Pam Bondi says Second Amendment. Yeah, Second Amendment. Arm it up, people, because the time has come. Dust off those muskets, because here we go. You walk into my property. You try to take my landscapers. You try to take my friends. You're gonna have a reckoning with me, right? And then we're gonna have a fucking thing where, oh man, he barricades himself in house with immigrants, right? That's what it's going to be. Because
Yeah.
here's what's coming. When this nightmare ends, and it will end, the investigations will start, subpoenas are going to fly, and justice will not tiptoe in quietly, man. It'll arrive like a goddamn trumpet blast from the book of Revelation. And when the indictments drop, when agents and secretaries and executive yes men are marched into courtrooms, when history books look back on what was done and who allowed it, God himself will lower his sunglasses, lean over the balcony, and say, now that's how you smite a motherfucker.
I like that.
You've been
Good
warned.
image.
This is not your oath and not your alibi. This is your badge, not your shield. This is your power, not your permission. This is your moment, not your escape plan. This is your conscience, not your cover story. Truth over terror, people. Truth over terror. Anyway, that's what I have so far.
I like that, man. I like that a
I'm
lot.
so fucking pissed that we allow this fucking shit to continue. Here we are in the United States of America, where now comedians are not sure whether they should say certain shit.
Hmm.
Well, if that's going to be the way it goes, I'm the first one going to jail. Because if,
Fight the power, man.
yeah,
Fight the power. But yeah, they gotta say something.
that's right.
And
Somebody's got
that's
to
something
speak
well
the fuck
said.
up.
Yeah, seriously.
And I'll be doing more of those. And it shows. Right now, we've got a movement that's happening. We've got crowds in that are up in. I just saw some shots. Man, you see the shots of the crowds during the first hands off march, and now there's going to be more. I mean, there was a huge crowd in Salt Lake City, of all
Damn.
places. Salt Lake City is in Utah, for those of you who don't know. And Utah usually votes about 20%, 29% Democratic,
Hmm.
right? 29%, right? The 29%. That's basically 70% um, Republican. Well, they had a little bit of a crowd thing, a march at the Hands Off March, which is the movement that's going against the going against our the movement that's basically going against
The ICE deportations or the Doge stuff.
everything, right?
Everything.
Hands off is like get the hell out of there, Elon Musk.
Mm.
So in this case, let's see, find okay, now I know what I need to do. I'll show you that crowd size of that crowd. It's kind of cool, man. That people are actually getting involved again. And we need some of this every once in a while to get people to go, fuck this,
Yeah,
right?
man. People
Yeah,
getting tired of it.
instead of hands off march, I'm going to start my own movement. It's going to be called the fuck this movement.
Damn.
So look at that. This is like Salt Lake City, right? That's a lot of people for Salt Lake City, all for a hands-off march. This is the first one too. So that's the state capital.
Mhm.
Is that Salt Lake City? I don't know if that's Salt Lake City because state cap. I don't know if the state capital is in Salt Lake. I think it's in Ogden.
I have no idea.
And
I got a D average in high school, so
and and you got a D. You got a D average in high school.
yeah.
You're perfect for a comedian then. Certainly, man. Maybe this podcast will start to make you famous, like Shane Gillis and all those guys. But see, I don't think Shane is part of the manosphere
He's not part of
necessarily.
the manosphere.
No,
He's
he's a lot
good.
more sensitive. You got a lot more sensitive things going on. And he calls those motherfuckers out.
He
But
does call him out.
Andrew Schultz and those guys, they seem to be part of the manosphere. I don't know. I don't see Nate Bargatze as part of the manosphere.
I don't see him either. Or nor do I see like Mark Norman
Mark
or
Normand.
what's his, Sam Morril. They're just,
Sa- Yeah, yeah, Mark Norman. I don't see them as part of the Manosphere. So yeah, man, fuck.
Speaking of Manosphere, freaking, I guess Hinchcliffe's Kill Tony's now going to be on Netflix. He was touting that he's like the biggest, like he now has like the biggest comedian deal on Netflix or some bullshit like that. I didn't like look into like I didn't fact check it, but I guess his Kill Tony's now going to be on Netflix.
As a series.
Yeah,
No, well, hey, good for him. I don't say, I, I, I don't like that guy. I
no,
think there's too much real, true vitriol in his. I guess this is like, I guess they're trying to do. This might be the new,
their new version of Jesselnick.
yeah, the new UFC MMA fighting type of version of comedy,
Yeah,
where people just like, they're brutal rather than there's not that love through line that's always been at the old roasts.
no, dude, it's so brutal. Like I've been watching a lot of the roast battles on YouTube, and it's because it's like I almost equate it to like battle rapping, and it is a lot like battle rap where you come in there, you got to make sure you have your, and it's brutal, man. Some of the things people be doing, it's just like, oh god,
Yeah, man,
where's the joke?
yeah, there's no joke. They're just being mean, right?
It's going straight for the jugular.
Right. There's no like the idea of comedy is being able to finesse the insult with the joke,
Yeah,
right? And not completely brutalize somebody, right? It's like, where's the finesse there? You can brutalize them, but it's got to be some joke in there. If there's no joke, because the idea is we're laughing at something that is so mean,
yeah,
right? But we're laughing at it because the joke is so good. But
exactly.
if the joke is not good, then it's just you with an emotional outburst.
Yeah, it's just you at the playground listening, going back to elementary school, listening to someone cap you down or some bullshit
Yeah,
like
like if
that.
you say something like, we're lucky you're even here because if your mother wasn't too drunk to find a coat hanger, you would have been buried in a casket the size of a saxophone case. And basically what's that saying? You would have been aborted, right?
Yep.
So it's like, but it's a different way of saying it. So you're using comedic irony, at
Yeah.
least to get to the joke. And plus it's a three descriptor line, right? But it's like, but I think Hinchcliffe has actually figured out the three descriptor line.
Oh, he's yeah,
He
he's been
uses
able,
it,
he's using it now. He's definitely using it.
right?
And I think he's just probably doing the heel thing because everybody wants a heel and he can play the good heel where it's just
Yeah,
like people want to just hate on him and shit and fuck it, hate on him. He's making the money. But yeah,
that's
it's
right.
it's, it's fucking it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I don't I think we'll see what happens with it, but it might like become the new sort of like UFC version of comedy where it's like we're just people brutal to each other. So now you see that in the fight in when the street fights that we see in the shorts that pop up in the
Oh yeah,
videos.
dude.
Anytime somebody goes down, they start wailing on them just like in UFC.
Seeing a lot of those coming up in my feed now. It's just like, come on, stop it.
And that's
Yeah.
what that's going to do is spread more of that shit. So now that's the way they see a resolution to an argument is to fucking strike somebody and then, you know,
Well, that's the thing too, right? So you got this thing where it's like there's that one kid in Texas where the bully was doing something and bullying him, so he ends up stabbing him, and now he's like in jail and all that stuff like that. And then you got the other kid who was getting bullied. I think this was out in Georgia. He was getting bullied by some kids. He ended up making a diss track, and then he gets suspended. Like damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're a
holy
black
shit.
kid, man,
Wow.
made a
Yeah.
diss track
Dude,
just because of all this shit.
it's
And
just
now he's
so
considered a terrorist or some shit like that. I'm like,
you
come on,
fucking
man.
kidding me. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet what's his name? Rittenberg or Rittenhouse. You can still go Rittenberg.
Rittenberg,
It's like,
yeah.
sorry, Jewish community. I didn't mean to make him Jewish. We know you
Even
know
though
how
they
to
all
pull a
voted
trigger,
for him.
but
Yeah.
just ask the folks in Gaza.
Yeah. With,
Teddy was like, "Should we even be talking
oh,
about that?"
God,
And I think,
don't put me on the
I think
list, dude.
the IDC is right there. I don't want to be
They'll
on the
start
list.
grouping me with Kanye.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. That's
Well, no,
bad,
this is
dude.
like, yeah, well, I'm not, yeah, not grouping you with Kanye, but let's see when you're going too far, like they are, and fucking, wow, you don't
Yeah.
just like you don't remove people, completely remove them when. And that's the thing, right? They're saying the radical side of the Jewish side, the radical side, is just like my boss back in the day. He used to say, "We need to kill them all." I
Yeah,
was like, "What, dude?" He goes, "We need to kill them all." I go, "Oh, great, then you're them. You've
genocide,
just made
yo.
yourselves them. Don't you get it?" Right?
Yes.
What's the old saying? It's like, "Be careful. You become those. You become what you hate." Right?
Hmm.
Oh, you got to constantly introspect, man. You got to check yourself.
And that's
You
something
got
they
to
don't do.
You got to ask yourself some questions. Is this the right? Am I doing it for the right reason? Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right solution? Does this
No,
violate the law? Does this violate God's law? Or
no,
whatever your thing is. I don't say God's law because it turns out God's law is about killing people.
no. Smiting
Yeah.
to the smite can't smite
Smite and kill,
anymore.
smite and smite some more.
The only question they ask is this
Eat a
going to make
smite
my
sandwich.
is this going to make my pockets bigger? Is this going to make my wallet
Holy
larger?
shit. And then
Or is the
then
board going to be happy with this?
Trump going, we're gonna just sort of divide it up. We're gonna build it make it a resort,
Make it a Riviera.
make it a
Like what?
Riviera, the new Riviera. And it's
Uh,
like, oh my God, you're getting.
not
How about
only are
asking
you
the
going to
people who are
tank
there?
Atlantic City, you're going to tank the Gaza City too, or whatever.
So we're in a jam right now, and it's coming. And like I said, the reckoning is coming. And it's like that's what winter is coming, the reckoning is coming. And it's like the American people are going to be after this fucking play they did on the stock market.
Oh man, yeah, and then like the fact that he's just publicly talking about how everyone made money off of this, which last
Right.
time I checked, you can't do that. Like if this like if this was back in like the 1920s, people would be getting arrested over this shit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but now it's just like, yo, say the quiet part out loud, and no one's gonna care.
Well, because he's got his own FBI director in there. He swapped out the director of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. So all of that stuff is now in his control.
You got some good
So
old boys in there.
yeah, right. And right now that's where it's at. So it's going to change though. It's like and if we can take over the Congress, if we can take over the legislature and flip the Senate, right? Then we're going to have some power to be able to do that. And trust me, as soon as we flip that legislature investigation, right now they're already discussing impeaching Trump over this fucking game he played with the stock market. And the thing is, the maggots they think it's cool, right? They're
Like,
they're like they think it's fucking cool. It's like they have no. They're so wrapped up in the idea of owning the libs that they don't care whether you play by the rules, and in this case, the law. They don't care. They think it's cool, and it's like, well, they're not going to think it's cool when it comes back the other way. But it
right.
won't come back the other way because the Democrats are all about let's do the right thing.
We don't want to
Let's
be like
let's show
them.
by example. Yeah, we don't want to be like that. That's the moral high ground. They're way up here being so moral
Let's
while
write
everybody's
them
stealing
a
the fucking shit below
500
them.
page essay on what's
Right?
right,
Yeah.
what they shouldn't be doing.
Send them a strongly worded email. Yeah, man.
Seriously.
We need a new party. We need a party of maybe AOC. Oh, man, I think she's like
She's
so smoking.
gorgeous. Yeah, she's
Yeah, not
definitely
only that,
gorgeous.
she's got the perfect look of the doughy eyes, right? The nice eyes. You could tell she's got a soul,
Hmm.
right? And yet she can be vicious
Yeah.
because she's smart. And that intellect will cut through anything you try to think. That's why so many of these fucking, red pills hate her
Oh
because
yes.
they don't like smart women. They don't like women who are self-assured. They don't like women with confidence. They don't like women who could eviscerate your opinion and or your, whatever you
Women
put
that can
out
bruise
there.
their fragile masculinity.
Totally. These guys are all fragile. I'm a red pill alpha male. Look, I'm tough, right? It's like I love the fact that the red pill is not even their own. Even their branding isn't
Right? It's all
original, right?
Matrix.
It's all from the Matrix. And it was like when they find out that Matrix was written by two trans people, oh wow. Hey, guess what, red pills? You're also woke. Who would have thought?
For real, for real.
Look at
It's
guys.
wild, man. It's
So how
wild.
you doing, Teddy? Like how you doing? How you doing? You hanging in there? How's work? Is work at least paying off a little bit? You
No,
getting better? You seeing any improved numbers?
no, I gotta do better. I gotta do better. I'm not doing anything. I'm like I need
And
to do better, so that's what I
so
need to be doing.
here's the other thing. It's like when comedy's to blame for this, right?
What's
Comedy
up?
is to blame for this, right? Because when you start digging something like comedy, and it's like, because I kind of went through the same thing. When you, oh, yeah, I did go through the same thing. Holy shit. When you're balancing money with the art and the passion, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, then you don't, you want to spend time in the art and the passion like 24/7. And it's like, I know I do. I'm all like, I'll wake up middle of the night. I've opened my phone. I start typing an idea that I have. I can't let it go away. And it's like, so it affects my sleep. But then when you have your job, that's the revenue job, it is, you don't want to go to it
Right?
because now this goes into a neurological reason. When you have something that makes you uncomfortable, now it is called your real job. Before you have to go to that, your brain wants to protect you from things that make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it'll make you feel really fucking tired. That's one of its defense mechanisms.
Yep.
Have you
No.
ever done this? You ever like you have to be at work at a certain time? You go, yeah, I gotta. Okay, so I should maybe jump in a shower here. And it's you know what? What I really need is a fucking nap. I am so tired.
Let me just hit the snooze button.
And you hit
No,
the
I've been
snooze
right,
button,
been
and
all through
man,
that
you will
stuff, man.
sleep for 3 to 4 fucking hours. You're like, I should have been at work 3 hours ago. Now you're like,
Yeah.
ah, fuck it, right? And so that's what happens. I mean, your brain is making you feel tired so that
Yeah.
you
And
know
then
it
it's
doesn't
also
you feel uncomfortable.
the whole grind culture too of like you gotta be grinding, gotta be grinding. And it's just like, what, what if I'm not grinding anymore? I'm grinding all my dreams and stuff into like protein powder shit. That's
Yeah,
what's going
it's
on,
like,
man.
well,
Shit.
here, yeah, and it's a matter of persistence. It's just a matter of persistence. Persistence trumps everything,
Yeah,
right? I hate to
100%.
use the word trump, but persistent is above everything. So it's not,
Persistence and consistency.
and consistency. If you keep practicing and you keep practicing, talent is not going to be able to hide. You know, so it's like some of the things that people they expect some they have an expectation of like 2 years, 3 years. Maybe it's longer than 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. Maybe it's like Rodney Dangerfield. He got famous at 62, right? But he
Hmm.
got famous, right? Through persistence and consistency. And so you just stay with it and keep practicing and keep doing your drills, dusting off the rails,
Yeah.
writing some new jokes and then you'll feel better about it. Now there was a I came up with this idea. I was kind of sharing this thing with our friend. You mentioned him earlier.
Oh,
Jack
Jack?
Rain,
Yeah.
Jack Rain, right? So Jack was we were texting. He was texting me the idea of a joke. And the idea and the joke was what was it? He had this joke and it wasn't quite he basically sent me a video of he sent me a video of Robin Williams.
Mhm.
So I'll show you the video here. Let's see if I can get it up. Let's see if I can get it up, dude.
Get it up. Get it up, dude.
So where'd it go? Son of a bitch! I hate when I do that shit.
We all do it, my man. We all do it.
So let me see if let me share it. Share. And the thing is, like when you first open your phone, right, it comes up on mobile, and then you're like, wait a second. All right, I want to do this with it. Okay, I want to do that with it. Here we go. I'll airdrop it. Oh, I'm using some technology here
There you
now.
go.
I'm not as dumb as I thought.
Hitting the
So,
tech.
so I'll share this. All right, so let me share this with you. So, and make sure I optimize. Right,
Optimize for sound.
optimize for sound. All right, we're gonna go look at this Robin Williams video. He's at the Graham Curve, Graham, whatever his name is,
The UK.
in the UK, right? So famous guy out there. So he's asking him about Michael Jackson. Of course, this is old, but he does an analogy. First, he does a joke. He does a cliche reformation, and then he goes into an analogy here.
drug, that drug that Michael Jackson the
Yeah,
kid did.
well, propofol, which his nickname is Milk of Amnesia.
Ah,
It's Michael Jackson was taking propofol to sleep, which is like doing chemotherapy because you're tired of shaving your head.
that's good.
So notice here, I hate the clip they use. They cut to this moment where he's really laughing
Hmm.
because when he does the joke, is he laughing when he does the joke?
Propofol to sleep, which is like doing chemotherapy because you're tired of shaving your head.
He stays in the bit.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're tired of shaving your head. That's just ridiculous. Why would you do that?" He doesn't laugh. Ha 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 ha. Ha. He stays in the bit. The feeling that got him to the punchline, he stays in that bit. He stays there. And then he goes to the next joke. The laugh doesn't come till later, some tags and toppers that happen. But
Right.
that's the joke. So the joke is basically taking propofol to go to sleep is like using chemotherapy
Chemotherapy.
because you're tired of shaving your head. So he says, I get that it's an analogy. I'm sure he was used to using incongruity listing technique, but I'm trying to figure out how he got to the punchline. He's not really using an incongruity listing technique, but it's like he says, like, is the connection of being lazy or taking a shortcut with the sense of absurdity? I said, what you have to do here is you have to basically distill the idea to its basic truth, right? What is he saying? He's saying he basically overdid a. So anyway, so I read. Let me sort of square it up here for it. Like it's like so basically he said if you want to really analyze it, using propofol to sleep is like he's saying that propofol is a very powerful drug. It's milk of amnesia, right? So using it to sleep is overkill. So no pun intended.
Ah,
So what other drugs, pharmaceuticals usually administered in the hospital we use, like in this case, that audience can immediately relate to do something most people do every day, right? So basically, we're distilling it down. So find the simple truth. Basically, it's like what is using propofol to go to sleep? Overkill, way out of proportion. It's a way out of proportion solution to an everyday health related problem, sleeping. That's like using a stick of dynamite because your asshole itches,
right.
right? So,
It's
which
like
is
using morphine because you got a migraine.
that's right, right? Or yeah, it's like that's like freebase cocaine because you yawned.
Better visual. I like that.
That's like
Free
using a
base.
ride-on lawnmower to trim your bush.
Yeah.
But once you have the idea, once you distill down what is the essence of what he's trying to say here, it's overkill for a simple health problem. And you could even say take it out of that, like when I said stick a dynamite because your asshole itches, right? That's basically kind of what would be another health problem that's kind of easy to deal with. Your ass itches. It's hard to do that in public, right? And sometimes itchy asshole is a pain in the ass, right? It's not a
No
pain in the
pun
ass. It's like,
intended.
plus you're like, I can't let anybody see me itch my asshole, right?
Worse than getting caught picking your nose.
So it's like you're using a stick of dynamite to itch if your asshole itches. It's like light the fuse, you know.
Fire in the hole.
Fire. I was just gonna say that fire in the hole. But yeah, that's now you have it. So try that out. I want you to
Yeah,
try that. Just try it tonight, or if you're going out, just like you're basically taking the idea of just test it. Just test the Michael Jackson thing. Michael Jackson, basically using propofol to go to sleep is that's overkill, man. That's like using a stick of dynamite if your asshole itches. Take him through it. You can do like Bill Burr does. He mixes them up. He uses it, several of them,
hmm,
right? And he sees which one the audience is going to laugh at. And then he goes, I just gave you 9 jokes on that one idea, right? And the audience loves the fact that he now shared what he did with them. It's the game of the scene, right?
name of the
So
scene. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah,
that's a fun thing to do. Now, anytime you have a situations like that, you distill it down to what am I trying to do? So a lot of times we're doing an analogy, we can't find the analogy because we failed to distill down what's actually happened here. Overkill solution for a simple problem. So
yeah,
you could even just write a bunch of overkill solutions for a simple problem, and then you can say like somebody like pulling a gun on somebody because they wouldn't give them $1 or whatever it is, right?
right.
Or somebody we have this all the time. Somebody taking a crowbar to somebody's car because he almost cut him off, right? It's again, a lot of those things are overkill for a simple problem. Then you could go to that simple analogy and write a bunch of those. So
Yeah, I
once you
could.
identify what it is, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
So then I gave him a sort of a step process. And because he was coming up with stuff and it wasn't quite hitting, right? So what's the side effect of chemotherapy, losing your hair? So he said, basically, I said, he'll try to get too clever. So he said, let's like doing epinephrine to try to stay awake at work. I said, first of all, is epinephrine a commonly enough related idea that everybody understands it instantly?
No,
No, no, it's kind
I
of like
don't.
they kind of have to go in their file cabinet to find
Yes.
epinephrine, right? So that's going to kill it, number one. And then secondly, people are already using amphetamines like that to stay awake, right?
Hmm.
Lots of people use that shit and try to
No
find some
dose.
solution, no dose, and Red Bull and coffee, and then or
Five
they get it
hour.
5 hour, or they get Adderall, right? So anyway, so the people are already doing that. And it's like, again, it's like still not staying awake at work. People do that shit all the time. People are like cross tops that used to be legal in the 60s, right? That's like doing anesthesia because you're trying to relax. That's what all right. That's kind of make even that the simplest thing. Go
Yeah.
to the anesthesia general. If we get specific, propofol is an anesthesia, right? So it's like using morphine because you don't want to feel the pain of being dumped. Closer.
There
That
it
kind
is.
of
Yeah.
works a little bit. I was like giving yourself he goes, that's he did a Teddy B right here. He goes, that's like giving yourself a deliberator to the chest because you're trying to stay awake in church. I go, a deliberator, dude? A deliberator?
The Liberator.
It's defibrillator. Defibrillator.
They're gonna
Yeah,
deliberate.
deliberate. And then he was like, I wanted to see whether it was a typo, but he used it again down lower. So I was like,
The
it's not a
Liberator.
typo. I go, deliberator, bro.
Gonna
Um,
deliberate this church.
So he goes, that's like using a tracker for your dislocated knee so you can relocate it. I go, that's kind of a dumb thing. That would be under dumb, right? Like, oh, this chick, she used to think she could use it. Had to use a tractor, a tracker, like an eye tag, right? To locate, um, to relocate her, dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
Right? That's like saying, she thought capitalism was texting in uppercase, right? So it's like that's like sending your kids to Guantanamo Bay because you don't want to raise them. I said, no, that's like putting your kid in a house and leaving when you don't want to raise them.
Racism.
And it's like, which is what happened to him, right? They give him the beach house, and the parents split
Bye.
and left him in the house to be raised by a nanny.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what makes him so fascinating to me. That's one of the fascinating things about Jack. He's such a nice guy, right? And he's so like committed to learning this, and he's going through his steps. So part of going through the steps is learning by the mistakes.
Mistakes.
And
Yes, you
so
gotta do
and,
those
and that's
mistakes.
why I'm saying them because we're all learning from that because we've done the
Yes.
same process if we've actually
Yes.
worked our shit,
Yeah.
right? And I was
Ain't
like,
too
and I'm
clever of mine.
laughing at all these because I've done the same ones, right? So I'm laughing as I go through, not the same exact ones, but similar approaches with trying to find the groove. That's like taking Viagra because you're homeless. Your homies say you're too soft to be in their gang.
Ah.
That's a sketch, right? Dude, they said I was too soft to be in the gang. So I took a Viagra. It's like the guy comes in, yeah, no, I'm hard,
4 hours, man. I'm gonna
right?
be hard for 4 hours. What's up, motherfuckers?
And it's like that's like doing and then he
That's a
uses
good
one.
sketch.
He says one that's like using chemotherapy to look like you're ready for Halloween. I said that's too far removed now. It's one more step removed because what are you trying to say? He said, oh, chemotherapy, you want to look ghoulish for Halloween. Like, who said bald is ghoulish, right?
Hmm.
You just lose your hair when you're like, yeah, it's fucked up. It fucks you up. But it's like you lose your hair. That's the most noticeable thing when you're on chemo. So let's do something that's more related to hair being lost rather than ghoulishness, that you're taking us too many steps removed from that. The audience has to go through too many layers to solve that problem,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's a bald thing because you're tired of shaving your head, right? That's related to being bald, but you're trying to be too clever with it. So and then he goes through a few more. Um, he says, "What about that's like doing epinephrine to stay awake at work?" I said, "People are already doing that, right?" So it's like that's like freebasing cocaine, exaggeration over here, underplay it down here. That's like freebasing cocaine because you yawned, right?
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you want wild exaggeration. And he goes, that's like giving yourself a deliberator to the chest because you're trying to stay awake in church. I said, that's a wild, and I go, that's a wild he goes, that's a wild exaggeration. Um, and he goes, but it's defibrillator. I don't think he
Defibrillator.
got it, right? Because he was really happy with he got it. But it was like, you got to go through the work, man.
You gotta
Right?
do the
And you
work,
did.
100%, man.
You can see that's
100%.
like giving yourself a defibrillator because you're trying to stay awake in a defibrillator to the chest because you're trying to stay awake in church. That's a three descriptor on both sides.
Hmm.
So that works. And it's almost like a parallel analogy.
Yeah.
Using parallel analogies. That's what Bill Maher is famous for. That and fucking bend in the knee.
Right.
Motherfucker. He's trying to normalize that motherfucker. Don't you dare.
Mm.
No,
Him and
this is
Kid
not
Rock
a
are best
normal
friends
thing.
now.
Don't fucking normalize this shit.
Facts, man.
Bill, boy, they are getting him. He doesn't even see it. He's drinking the fucking Kool-Aid and sips,
Yeah.
right?
The new Kool-Aid man.
And we'll see what happens to him. I want to see his ratings plummet, right? You
We
don't do
should
that. It's
see.
the optics of it. And if you don't understand that the optics are everything in comedy, that they see something and they see it, and the audience is going to respond to that because the audience responds like this to
Yeah.
shit. When you took that dinner with him, people said, would you accept the invitation? I said, would I accept the invitation? I said, I would piss on it and set it on fire in a fucking live stream, right? And then it's like, and then I'd send it back. I'd send it back with fentanyl as a scratch and sniff. Save that.
Hell yes.
I'll make America great again.
Get it. Hell
So
yeah,
I was like,
man. That's wild. That's just wild, bro.
I was just blown away with, I don't know. No, I think you're forgetting who you are, Bill Maher. You don't, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Like he's made mistakes before, but when he used to be the bold guy with balls,
Yeah.
when he said, when he basically called out the Americans when it's like when you say, oh, we weren't brave, that's not brave. Is sending missiles from 1,500 miles away, medium range missiles, to blast the Iraqis is not brave. He basically when he was talking about 9/11,
Right.
flying a plane into a building, kamikaze style, is brave. And then he got kicked off of ABC. Basically, people were like,
Oh yeah,
"Oh,
that's how he got off of
you're
politically
you're a
incorrect.
traitor."
Yes.
But you know what? That then he got from politically correct to HBO, and he got more money. And then so I guess that's trying what he's taking a risk in the other way,
Yeah.
right? So taking a risk by going to meet with Trump. But he's talking about how
Can't beat him, make money off of him.
how congenial Trump is. You know why Trump is congenial? Trump wants for his whole life to be funny and accepted because he's funny. And he's not funny. That's why you see him up there. It's like he's trying to do a fucking routine.
He's always trying to do a routine.
And he finds something that works and he sticks with it like a fucking 5-year-old. Right?
I watched this from this comedy course. I'm gonna do this.
Right, exactly. And so he sees Bill Maher as a guy who's successful being a comedian. So of course he's not going to try to go toe to toe with him. He's going to try to learn from him and be like, yeah. If he can't come up with a joke in the moment, he'll just agree.
It would
And
be
that's
like,
the way Maher was explaining that. I go, that's exactly the way somebody would behave if they feel they're outgunned, right? If like I was sitting with Robin Williams in a room, and I've been with Robin Williams on a plane, right, going to do a show before. It's like you don't try to go over the top of him. You try to just listen and go, oh yeah, that's a good one. because you
Right.
can't think as fast because you're not as trained yet. I remember then when I drove him, and he didn't remember me because like years later I drove him in a limo because I was trying to save the marriage sort of thing.
Right.
And it's like, and then he's like, I recognize you. Did we work together? You know, and I said, yeah, and he was like, oh, and then we finally, he was like, I'm like, oh, you're a comedian. We worked together a couple of different times, and he was like, it was like, then what are you doing, man? Why are you driving a limo? I said, oh, and that stung, right? I go, trying to save my marriage. And like an hour goes by, he doesn't say a word. And he finally goes, fuck your marriage, man. Save your life.
That would be on a shirt.
That was the best advice I ever got in my life. And then,
Shit.
but when we were talking, and your brain is working, and he says something, you can tag or top it, then you're having fun, right?
Mhm.
Because you know the drill, you know how it works. Trump doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know the formulas, right? He doesn't know the analogies. He doesn't know that now you have a list, and now you can anything you associate to that works is going to make get a laugh. He doesn't know how that works. So when Bill Maher is saying stuff to him, he goes, "Yeah, yeah, I guess you're right." He doesn't have a comeback.
Oh, he
So
just repeats it.
like, and he gave me a couple of hats. I wrote down the 60 things he insulted me with,
Ah,
basically. And he goes, and I asked him to sign it.
oh my God.
And it's like, it's
Not
so
you,
funny
bud.
because your son can only hear one side of the
Right?
conversation.
Here
He's like, what?
you go. You're welcome. Here, put this up. There you go.
Yeah, see, the weed,
Yeah.
man, makes you calm. You're not having to yell. It's very funny, man.
Seriously, dude.
So it's like in the end with Jack Rain, there was sort of a step-by-step process. So I said, so he goes, if we're going to make this a step-by-step process, what would it look like? It'd be like in writing terms. You're going to essentially be doing this. Step one, what is this really? Right?
Okay.
Propofol to go to sleep. What is this really? Propofol sleep equal extreme solution for a minor problem. Step two, what's another extreme solution for a minor problem? Step three, find the analogy.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
that's it. So it's like in a three-step process. Now that you have that, you can now figure out how to put together analogies on anything. Because analogy is your saver, right? If you're talking about a subject matter, if you can find the what is this, now you can do an analogy with it and have a quick joke in there where there wasn't a joke before because you're bringing in a second idea.
Yeah, but don't you want to make sure too that the analogy is true for both, or is it just be
Yeah,
happy
well,
that you
that's
got
it.
an
True.
analogy in there?
It works for each. The analogy has to, for the analogy to work,
Hmm.
the analogy to work, it has to be true for each and both at the same time,
Right. A
right?
paradox in it.
Right. Because you're tired of shaving your head, could the chemotherapy be a solution? Yes, because it makes you bald, right? So it's like tired of shaving your head, so that works. It's like using chemotherapy because you're tired of shaving your head, right? So yeah, that's also a radical solution for relatively simple problem, just losing hair. Right? A lot of people would think that's the end of the world for them. Not me. I just skinned that dome. Lean
Bring it
into that
on,
shit.
baby.
Anyway, I think we've gone on past the hour.
Yeah, hour, yes.
I thought this was a pretty good one.
It's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
good one.
Again, like it's like what could we call this one?
Uh
What would be the name we would come up for this on this?
I don't
One of the ways I like to do is like take a quote or a moment from the
from the
actual
episode, yeah. And then
episode, and this
that's
could
what I do
be.
sometimes. That's how I title them.
Oh, good. Those are fun to do. I
Yeah.
learned that from like Pod Save America. They do that. They find the moment. Let's call it truth over terror,
Truth over terror.
right?
I like that. Yeah.
Because it'd be like, or you've been warned,
You've been warned.
or the reckoning is coming. That came up a couple of times.
The reckoning is coming. The reckoning is coming.
Yeah,
Get
the
your
reckoning.
get your deliberator.
Get your deliberator. Yeah. A deliberator. Name it a deliberator to the chest.
A deliberator to the chest.
That's a good one. A deliberator, because that'll get the people who try to think they're catching us in a typo, and then they realize inside the episode we actually are correcting somebody's typo. A deliberator.
A deliberator to the chest. I like that.
Yeah.
So this has been a great episode. My name is Teddy B.
Now do it like you mean it, Teddy B.
This is the
Dig
closer.
deep.
This is the closer.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't mean.
Oh.
That's it. So this has been a great episode.
This has been a
So this has been a great episode. Teddy
No, this
B
has
is
been-
back on the weed, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right. So this has been a great episode. My name is Teddy B,
And my name's Jerry Corley, aka the Joke Doctor.
and I am AKA the Joke Doctor's assistant, working on getting my Joke Doctor's license. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Peace out.
Peace out.